Hi, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be my wish list review for the year of 2024 and then my wish list going into 2025. Don't have a really big list, so it should be a fairly quick video, but no promises because I'm very chatty. I feel like I did pretty good with my wish list, so we're going to have the plants that I did get, and then we're obviously going to go over the list that I went, which was 6 total, and then an honorable mention as well. And at the end of the video, we'll be reviewing the plans that I have listed down for my wish list for the new year. So let's go ahead and just get started. So number one, I wanted the strawberry begonia, which was a plant that I did originally have in my collection, but it died due to lack of watering. And I did pick up 2 this year. This is all I have left from the 2. I am a chronic underwaterer, and these plants really like to get watered when it's needed. Not sit in water, but they do like to have their water. They have really thin leaves, really thin stems, so they don't like to go very long without water. I would like to put this in a self-watering pot, which is kind of like what I have going on right now. There's no drainage in this one, and it's in a plastic pot. So I will water it and then kind of just let most of the water run through. I did repot them together. It was 2 separate plants put into one because, again, I forgot to water both. First one I forgot to water and I thought it was going to die, so I bought a second one in case it did die. But they both, well, the first one survived, and then the first one did really good, or the second one did really good for a really long time. But then we had a passing in the family where I neglected my plants, because I was grieving. Um, and yeah, this is what I have left. So it's the 2 plants together. I don't know which one's which anymore, but both of them are in here. And I'm hoping that it'll grow back into a fuller plant. I did mix it with the Della tanks that I always use for all my plants for more aeration, but I did also keep some of the original soil that was in just for added moisture. That way it keeps getting, airflow in the soil, but it'll hopefully retain that moisture longer for this plant since I am a chronic underwaterer. But yeah, that is wish list plant number 1 that we were able to secure. It's such a super cute plant. It's not actually a begonia, they just call it that, but it's so cute. And then I have a new little baby plant, a new baby leaf right there. Can you see it? It's just such a cute plant. I absolutely love it. Okay, the next plant was an alocasia. This was the alocasia odora, which I did also end up picking up. This is the plant here. Oh, it looks really good. Oops, spilling water. It looks really good on camera. Let me put the pot down and just take it out of here. Um, yeah, looks really good in camera. This is the original pot that I came in, which I did purchase off of Date Plant Co. off of Instagram. They have sales on their stories, and that's where I found this one. If you're the first to make an offer or to say that you want it, you just pay, and they'll send it out your way. Really, really pretty. It was a lot more bushier. I'll put a picture of when I first got this plant. It was so stinking pretty. I love these little half moon leaves. It does have some funky leaves, which I've already checked to see if it's due to pests. And from what I can see, I don't see any pests. Plus, I always treat my plants when I first get them. I don't really isolate them because I don't have room, but I do clean their leaves. I do put granules. Spray neem oil. I do all the precautions I can do, and I just keep an eye on them for a while. But yeah, also suffered a little bit due to neglect. That's why it's not as bushy anymore. You can see more of the stems now. We do have 2 new baby plants here at the bottom. You can see this is one set, and this one here is another. And they are so stinking cute. But yeah, definitely one of my favorite purchases. So I really love this plant. I'm happy it's in my collection. Okay, the next one is the Alocasia heterophylla. If I'm looking down, it's because I have a notebook in front of me. This one I did not purchase. It was gifted. So obviously I gave it away. I was able to get this. Some of these I had just watered, so hopefully it doesn't leak on me. But this is it. My friend Melissa was the one who gifted this to me. It did come with just 2 leaves, so I believe, I don't know if this one's the original leaf. I think this is the original leaf, and this is the new leaf that grew in my care. There was another, but I cut it off because it had died off already. Um, my friend was decluttering some of her houseplants, and I said how I wanted this one, so she told me to take it. The only thing is that when I was visiting her house, okay, sorry for the change in lighting. It's just that my little light that I had died. So I'm using my ring light. Hopefully it's not too much of a difference. But anywho, my friend Melissa gave me this plant, but I was visiting with her. We did go get coffee and then we'll get plants and shop for plants. But while I was visiting her, it was extremely hot. It was in the summer and I was saying goodbye to her and we left the plants in there, and this one must have been due for water for a little while, I'm thinking, or maybe it was like a little past due, because it was already droopy. But with the heat and it being in the car, and it was like 3-digit weather, um, it really when I got home, it was just like wilted, just completely wilted. So I did take it out of the soil that my friend had it in, and I put it in a jar of water for some time. That's where it gave me this beautiful new leaf here. Oh, it's so beautiful. And it really hasn't done much since then. I just recently potted it into soil. As I mentioned, we did have a loss in the family and I was just going through stuff. So I was like neglecting most of my plants. So I just felt like it was better if it stayed in the jar of water where I could just put more water. I can visibly see the roots and everything. But now I'm trying to get back into it and care for my plants. And I really want to see this beauty just take off because this plant is absolutely beautiful. I'll leave pictures for you guys to see in reference of what this could be. Yeah, so I'm excited that I have her, and thank you to my friend Melissa for gifting this plant to me. She said she no longer wanted it. Like I said, she was just decluttering her plants. I didn't know this at the time, but she was moving, so yeah, that's great. It's so pretty. I absolutely love it. Okay, so the next wish list plant that was on my list that I did not get was a variegated Christmas cactus, and to be honest, I just wasn't looking for it. Um, I'm not going to come across that so easily. Like, I'm not going to see it in a store and just be able to pick it up. I mean, who knows? Maybe one day, but I haven't seen that yet. And I just haven't been searching to see if any online stores, Instagram, Etsy, none of the shops I haven't checked to see if that plant's available anywhere. So, yeah, I wasn't able to get that one. The next one was the variegated Maranta, which I did have one of already. But I didn't like how some of the leaves were reverted and not variegated, and the others were super variegated. That plant also, unfortunately, did pass. Don't have it in my collection anymore. As I mentioned, I neglected some of my plants, didn't water them, so it just kind of it died. Slowly but surely, it died. It did not make my not watering. Surprised that some of the plants did make it. The last one on my list was a watermelon peperomia, which I did pick up a version of it. So this is I think they call it a something harmony, because it's a variegated watermelon peperonia. So there's one leaf. The older leaves I chopped off because they were not looking so hot. So far, they've been coming in pretty wonky, and I'm not sure why. I don't see any pest on the plant, and I did spray it and treat it for pests just in case. Yeah, but I'm not sure why it's growing like that, and I don't see any more variegation on it, but it is still a beautiful plant, regardless of not having the variegation. I didn't want to have multiples of this plant. That's the reason why I marked it off as getting the watermelon pepperoni, even though this one's a variegated version. I think this one still has a little variegation on there if you guys can see. Yeah, but I don't know. We'll see how this does. Hopefully, it'll do better this year as I try to focus more on my plants. Don't know why it's doing that, where it's just kind of breaking. Maybe lack of watering. I don't know. It's been a struggle. Last one I have is an honorable mention. So last year I had talked about how I had previously wanted a, what are you called? Philodendron squamiferum. I think that's how it's pronounced. And I had decided to just take it off of my wish list completely and not get it after all because philodendron grow pretty big. You guys can see here, I have my philodendron gloriosum, and I have very limited space because it's me, my husband, and my two kids, and plus we have a dog. So our house isn't very big, and I'm kind of taking over the house with my plants, which I love very much, but my family kind of tolerates. So um, my friend Melissa also gifted me that plant, which is this one right here. I think she's due for watering. I'll have to check just because the leaves are kind of pointing down low. But I think they're also just kind of reaching for the light because I do have lights on the lower plants. This lives on my kitchen counter facing our back door and south, which is a south facing window. It's a window door. It has glass in a frame. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but if you know, you know. But yeah, oh, it's so stinking cute. I'm happy that she gifted me. Look at the stems on this plant. They're so red and fuzzy, and they're so stinking cute. I'm obsessed. It was also underwatered when I brought it in. As I mentioned, I had left the plants in the car, and I think my friend hadn't watered the plants in some time. We get busy, and sometimes we can't take care of our plants, and plus, she's a mom too. Uh, yeah, when I told her that I also had wanted this plant, she had two in one pot, and so what she did was just separated the two plants, and she gifted me this one, and it has put out a couple of leaves. I think this one, and this one are leaves in my care. As I mentioned, they're kind of facing down because it's reaching for the light, which is more down. I do have grow lights on the bottom of my countertop. Then plus it does get a lot of ambient lighting from our back door, which is south facing, and then we do have two windows in the dining area and the living room, which it lets in a lot of light. Although recently, because it is winter, we don't have as much light, but still, it's such a pretty plant. I absolutely love it. Yeah, it looks so tiny on my counter, but looking at it in the little monitor on the camera, it doesn't look very tiny. It looks kind of big. Uh, but she's a cutie. I like her. Okay, so now that we've reviewed everything that I was able to get for 2024, let's go ahead and talk about the plants that I'm hoping to get my hands on in this new coming year of 2025. So, top on my list is still a variegated Miranda. I just absolutely love that plant. It is really pretty. And although those are typically the first plants to die, other than my begonias, when I do go through those phases of, my anxiety and depression where I just don't feel like caring for the plants, let alone, well, I don't even feel like taking care of myself, let alone the plants. And I kind of have to force myself to take care of, my family and my pet. So I'll tend to neglect my needs and their needs just to try to make ends meet of caring for, everything else. But yeah, that plant is absolutely beautiful. I love it. I want another one. The next one I also want to get, and it's a plant that I've also previously owned before, and I just didn't do very good with it. It was beautiful when I got it, but then I don't know what happened to it, to be honest. I think I just was like a learning curve of taking care of it. It's also a Maranta. This is the silver band Maranta. Very pretty, and they have become a little bit more affordable now. I even see them in big box stores. I've just kind of been holding out to find like that perfect specimen that I want to bring into my home before just grabbing one and bringing it. The next one is a string of frogs. I'll leave the actual name. I know it's a ficus. I just can't pronounce the rest of it. The Pumelia something. Um, That plant is so stinking cute. I absolutely love it. It was doing so good. It was thriving. It was growing. I love the way it looked in my cabinet. The little leaves. Oh, it's just so pretty. Same thing though. I forgot to water it, or I just, during that time of neglect where I wasn't watering my plants, it died. A lot of the little leaves fell off. By the time I finally watered it, I think it might have gotten root rot because, it was so moist, me trying to make sure that it got the hydration that it needed. And yeah, it was just too late. And so it passed. And I would love to replace it. And the last one that I have on my list is still the variegated Christmas cactus. I don't know if I'll make the attempts to try to look for it this year. We'll kind of see how my mood is going. I'm kind of allowing myself to think about these plants that I want to get and add to my collection. But I think that I might have like a magic number where even though I'm not giving them the best attention that I should be for them to actually thrive, I give them enough attention to where they're surviving. Like these two plants back here are extremely thirsty. So is that poor little begonia there. But I love them enough to where I'll be like, okay, I guess I'm going to water you today. But yeah, I think there's just like a magic number where even though I'm neglecting them, I'm still able to maintain them, if that makes sense, so they don't die. Yeah, but that's basically it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I don't think it's too long. I think it's kind of short, but either way, I think those get the best views. So if you like this type of video, please give me a thumbs up and let me know what you guys are planning on adding to your plant collection in the comments below. And if you guys have social media like TikTok or Instagram where you share your plants and what they look like and what you like, I would definitely love to follow. Just leave that handle in the comments below. And yeah, just share what you guys are planning on adding to your collection or what your favorite has been for the year of 2024. I would love to know. Thank you so much for taking time to watch this video. I truly, really appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.